If you're in B2B sales, the old playbook is just, well, it's broken. Buying lists, blasting out thousands of emails, and just kind of hoping something sticks. It really feels like you're just shouting into the void. But what if you could stop all that guesswork and actually engineer a predictable pipeline of qualified appointments? Today, we're going to break down how the B2B lead generation game has totally changed and how Dakshraj Enterprise is building the engine that modern sales teams need. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll dig into why the old model is so fundamentally broken. Then, we're going to explore the smarter, intelligence-driven system that's taking its place. After that, we'll get into the nuts and bolts of how the Dakshraj engine actually works, check out the real-world impact on pipeline growth, and then finally, we'll nail down exactly who this system is built for. So, let's start with the problem. That old way of doing things, what everyone calls spray and pray, it isn't just ineffective these days. It's actually hurting your brand and burning through your team's most precious resource, their time. Just think about it for a second. Is your current outbound lead generation strategy leading to burned domains, frustrated sales reps, and a team that's spending way more time digging for leads than actually closing deals? If that sounds even a little bit familiar, trust me, you are not alone. This is the painful reality for so many companies that are stuck using an outdated model. And the difference is, well, it's night and day. On one side, you've got the old way, buying lists that are probably stale, sending out mass emails that just wreck your domain's reputation. But on the other side, you have the modern approach. It's all about intelligence, using real-time, signal-based data to send super personalized messages from a protected infrastructure, which leads directly to qualified appointments. For your business, this is the difference between spinning your wheels and actually getting some serious traction. And this number right here, this just says it all, 4%. Now, that's the average email deliverability. We're not even talking open rates. We're talking about just getting to the inbox. For a typical outbound campaign, that means for every 100 emails you send, 96 of them don't even have a chance of being seen. It's an unbelievably broken system. Look, the bottom line is this. The era of what we can call call center spam is done. It's over. Blasting out the same email over and over is a one-way ticket to getting blacklisted, burning out your team, and getting zero meaningful pipeline growth. So, okay, enough doom and gloom. Let's talk about the solution. The new way of thinking is all about shifting from high volume to high intelligence. It's about being smarter, not just louder. And the heart of this whole smarter system is something called signal-based intent data. This isn't about guessing who might be interested someday. No, this is about using real-time data, like seeing a company suddenly hire a bunch of new VPs or get a new round of funding, or maybe drop a competitor's software to know who is actively looking to buy something right now. It's the difference between knowing someone owns a car and knowing they just walked onto the car dealership lot. And, well, the results really do speak for themselves. Just look at this chart. Traditional cold outreach on a good day might get you a 3 to 5% reply rate. But when you use intent data to fuel your account-based marketing, that number jumps to 15, even 25%. We're talking a 5x improvement just from having better timing and being more relevant. And it's not just about email anymore. A modern system has to use omni-channel outreach. And this isn't just about sending a LinkedIn message and an email. It's about a coordinated system where every touchpoint knows about the others. It creates one single, coherent conversation with the buyer instead of a bunch of disconnected noise. So they experience a logical story that builds on itself, not just random pings from all directions. So, how does this all actually come together? Let's pop the hood and look inside the specific pipeline architecture that Dakshraj Enterprise has built to make this whole modern approach a reality for their clients. They've got it down to a really clear 3-step process. First step, targeting. They use API signals, not stale lists, to find accounts that are showing intent right now. Step 2, they connect across multiple channels with personalized messages. And then step 3, they nurture and score every single interaction until a lead is mathematically hot qualified and ready for a super smooth handoff to your sales team. But here's the thing. None of that matters if your emails just land in spam. And that's why it all starts with the foundation, a protected, dedicated sending setup. Dakshraj actually engineers a totally separate server architecture, complete with proxy domains, to guarantee you get the best email deliverability. And, this is huge, to keep your main company domain 100% safe and sound. This table just lays out the difference so clearly. A typical agency, They're probably using shared IPs, questionable authentication. Dakshraj uses a dedicated infrastructure that is fully authenticated with all the techie stuff like DMARC, DKM, and SPF. And while others are using old, stale lists, Dakshraj is using real-time API scraping. And when a lead is ready, it's an automated CRM integration, not some manual spreadsheet you have to update. This is what enterprise-grade architecture looks like. Okay, let's get to the part that really matters, the results. We've seen the how, so now let's look at the impact this system has on turning what was an unpredictable trickle of leads into measurable, scalable revenue. This number it's just staggering. Clients who use the Dakshraj system see an average increase in their pipeline output of 310%. This isn't some small little improvement. This is a total transformation of how a sales team operates. So how do you get to that massive pipeline growth? Well, it starts right here. Remember that awful 4% deliverability from before? With Dakshraj's dedicated sending setup and their intense focus on better email deliverability, that number becomes 99.4%. I mean, when your messages actually arrive, you can finally start having conversations. This is the one metric that makes everything else possible. And it's not just about the tech, right? The human element of crafting the perfect message is absolutely critical. They use advanced copywriting techniques based on natural language processing, or NLP, to create really persuasive messaging. Just listen to Ananya Roy from Roy Hospitality Group, who said this expert copywriting literally doubled their lead generation rate. It just goes to show you the power of combining a sophisticated system with really high-quality communication. So, what's the end result of all this? It really boils down to one word: control. You move from the chaos of an inconsistent lead flow to the beautiful predictability of a system. You get a steady stream of qualified appointments, a sales team that can actually focus on what they do best, closing, and scalable pipeline growth that plugs right into your CRM. All right, so you're probably wondering, is this for me? Let's talk about who this advanced lead generation system is actually designed for. It's really specifically engineered for growth-focused, high-ticket B2B companies. This system is really built for SaaS companies, B2B service providers, and pretty much any sales team that's selling high-ticket services. It's for founders and growth managers who get that a predictable pipeline is the absolute lifeblood of their business. And frankly, it's for anyone who is just sick and tired of the old, broken model of burned domains and junk leads. So the message here is pretty clear. Stop struggling with tactics that just don't work anymore. It's time to start thinking like an engineer and build a predictable sales pipeline with the kind of solid architecture that modern B2B sales absolutely demands. If you are ready to multiply your sales pipeline and put a system in place that's built for today's buyer, the next step is really simple. Just start a conversation with Dakshraj Enterprise. And I'll just leave you with this final thought. Take a second and just imagine it. What could your sales team really achieve if their calendars were consistently full, not with cold prospects, but with qualified, sales-ready appointments? What would that kind of control and predictability mean for your company's growth?